gentlemen, welcome to episode 36 of Pop Icon, the podcast. I'm your host, David, a digital media student at Gulf Coast State College and the host of Pop Icon Radio every Wednesday from 8 to 9 in the morning, where we talk pop culture, we play pop music. We actually do a recap of Pop Icon, the podcast on there every Wednesday. So definitely check that out if you guys get the chance. We are here today talking the good, the bad, the iconic pop culture news of the week for the past week of May 22nd to May 29th. And we are going to jump into some really, really interesting stories this week. We have got, you know what I know is funny is like the first thing that came to mind, I'm like, Ivy Wolke cans. Like that is the first thing I want to talk about. But we're going to get into that. We've got so much to talk about this week. We've got the top 10 stars of young Hollywood being announced. Like who is Hollywood checking for these days? We have got... What have we got? We have got the death of a pop culture icon. Oh no, we have to talk about that later. And then a little bit further in the show, we have got a brawl that took place at Cannes Film Festival. Like who was fighting there? That's crazy. So we got a lot to talk about this week. We're going to start things off, of course, with our pop icon. Let's start with the Billboard Hot 100 Top 10 of the week. So we are talking about the week of June 1st, and let's get right to it. Number 10 this week, we have got Fortnite, Taylor Swift featuring Post Malone. At number 9, we've got Too Sweet by Hozier. At number 8, we've got Benson Boone with, I keep on wanting to say Wild Things there, that's so crazy, Beautiful Things. At number 7, we have got Lose Control, Teddy Swims. At number 6, we've got Espresso, Sabrina Carpenter. At number 5, new this week, we have got Lunch by Billie Eilish. At number 4, we've got A Bar Song, Tipsy, Shaboozey. At number 3, we've got $1 Million Baby, Tommy Richmond. Number 2, we've got Not Like Us, Kendrick Lamar. And number 1, for the second week in a row, we have I Had Some Help, Post Malone featuring Morgan Wallen. Morgan Wallen is going to be here this coming week for Gulf Coast Jam. I guess he canceled last year, and he's going to be here this week. So I'm very curious if I'm going to like run into him. I mean, I don't know. Do we have any like friends in common? Probably not, but it'd be really interesting if we did. So that's our Billboard Hot 100 Top 10 songs of the week. We can jump into the box office Top 10 of the week as well for the week, or actually the weekend of May 24th through May 26th. So we got number 10, we have got Babes, 1.1 million. I'm like, what is Babes? I've never heard of it. And it's got my girl Alana Garzer, I think, or Glazer is her name. She's so funny. She's from Broad City. One of my coworkers told me about Broad City a couple weeks ago, and I was like, maybe I'll check it out. And I watched it, and it's so fucking funny. Oh my god, hilarious. Love those girls, Abby and Alana. Number 9, we have got Back to Black, the Amy Winehouse biopic, 1.1 million. That's like really sad. Number 8, we've got Challengers, 1.4 million. Going back to Black, I heard there's like a scene in it where Pete, whatever his name was, that she was dating, like the character, he like pulls out like an engagement ring like box and like opens it, and there's like 2 crack rocks in there. I'm gonna scream. That is so fucking disrespectful. Number 8, like I said, we have Challengers, 1.4 million. Number 7, we've got Sight, 2.8 million. Number 6, we've got The Strangers Chapter 1, 5.6 million. At number 5, we've got The Fall Guy, 6 million. At number 4, we've got Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, 13 million. At number 3, we've got If, 16 million. At number 2, we've got the Garfield movie, 24 million. And number 1 this week, we have got Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, pulling in 26 million. And some people were saying it was like a box office like bomb. I'm like, it's going to make the money back at some point, and don't you dare call Anya Taylor-Joy a bomb. Like, she's not. She's amazing. She's iconic. She's like a genre queen, which we're actually going to get into a little bit later in the show. But that is our box office top 10 of the week, or the weekend for May 24th through May 26th. I'm curious. I think next week, In a Violent Nature comes out. I'm very excited to see that, but I looked it up, and I don't think there's any theaters playing it near me. It's like 100 miles away that like the closest theater's at. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, we'll get into the good pop culture news of the week after this. So we can get into the good pop culture news of the week. We can start with the pop icon pop culture history of the good pop culture news. We have got Anthony Edward Stark being born on May 29th, 1970 in Manhattan, New York, to Howard Stark and Maria Stark. Tony Stark, as we know him, is the face of the cinematic universe. You're like, wait, what? Of what cinematic universe? Of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So Tony Stark is Iron Man, played by Robert Downey Jr. in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He has been a staple ever since 2008, and he's made like $100 million off of it. That's amazing for the real life Tony Stark, but it is the character's birthday. Tony Stark from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, his birthday. So he was born May 29th, 1970. So happy birthday to Tony Stark. There's some real people whose birthday is today that we can actually celebrate. We have got Danny Elfman, who is known for doing the Spider-Man movies. He's done like a lot of like Sam Raimi films. He's done a lot of like Tim Burton films. We've got it being Annette Bening's birthday. We have got Daniel Tosh being born today. We've got Mel B from the Spice Girls. And last but not least, we've got Riley Keough. So that's great. Happy birthday to all of those amazing people. We have got some really interesting pop culture news to talk about this week. Some good pop culture news. We have got, okay, so first things first, we have got the name for the newest Knives Out installment. So Netflix's Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery, will be coming to Netflix soon, hopefully. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But we have got some new names being added to the cast. So first things first, the only returning star was going to be Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc, the protagonist, the detective of the film. But we've got some new names that are going to be involved now. We've got Josh O'Connor from Challengers. We've got Kaylee Spaney from Priscilla. She was in Civil War. Who else has been added? I believe Andrew Bailey, not Andrew Bailey. Andrew Scott has been added to the cast. We've got Tom Hardy possibly having a role. Lindsay Lohan. We'll see how it goes. Who's going to be joining Rian Johnson's newest flick? That's like on Netflix. I'm like, why is it on Netflix? It needs to be released in movie theaters. Like, I think they've released Glass Onion in movie theaters for like a day or something, but like, I don't know. They can make a little bit more money doing it that way, or they probably spend more money. Who knows? So that's like interesting. We've got that being announced. Are you going to check it out? I never watched Glass Onion. I never watched Knives Out, but my friend Stacy told me that it's something to check out. I'm curious about it. Maybe I'll have to look into that. So we've got some more interesting pop culture news, some good pop culture news. We've got Jessica Lange to star in the film adaptation of The Year of Magical Thinking from Joan Didion. So Jessica Lange is set to star in the film adaptation of the 2005 award-winning novel The Year of Magical Thinking from Joan Didion. So everybody knows who Jessica Lange is. Obviously, American Horror Story. She was in King Kong, like Blue Sky, Tootsie. There's been like a million films that she was in, but this is going to be one of her like newest roles, I guess. So Joan Didion wrote The Year of Magical Thinking following the death of her husband, author John Gregory Dunn, while she cared for her sick daughter, who passed away in 2005. The book's title alludes to magical thinking in the anthropological sense, where one believes that wishing intensely or performing specific actions can prevent an inevitable event. I am like scared of that like book. I've picked it up before, but I've like put it down also. I'm like, I don't know if I like have it in me to read this just yet. But maybe I need to. Maybe that would be something healing. Who knows? So I definitely might have to check out the movie. Maybe I'll watch the movie first and then I'll read the book afterwards, because it could probably soften the blow a little bit. So I'm curious to check that out. We've got a little bit more good pop culture news of the week. I guess we could talk about the Scream 7 cast being rumored out there right now. So we have got, supposedly Neve Campbell is already, well, not supposedly, she is coming back. Neve Campbell is coming back. Supposedly Courtney Cox is coming back. Supposedly Patrick Dempsey is coming back. But we've got some new names being added to the list of stars who are going to be possibly in Scream 7. So we have got, let's start at the top. Kerry Russell, we've got Leslie Grossman, we've got Zion Morano, we've got Gail Herald, we've got Kaylee Hyman, and last but not least, we've got Milo Manheim. And reading that list at first, I was like, who are half of these people? And then like it hit me who half of them were like afterwards. First things first, Kerry Russell. She is known for Felicity. She did The Americans. She is an icon. She is a great actress. Curious to see how that's going to go. Leslie Grossman, I mean, hello. When I first saw that, that's when I screamed. I said, Mary Cherry? Mary Cherry in a Scream movie? She was made for it. Hello. Did you not see the episode where she ran from the killer on Popular back in the day? I cannot believe that she's possibly going to be in it. She's had a resurgence thanks to American Horror Story. Ryan Murphy brought her back because Ryan Murphy originally did Popular back in 1999. I think that was a crazy show. I wish they had that on streaming. I would watch it, but it was also very controversial. So who else do we have on here? We have got Zion Morano, who is from the new Gossip Girl reboot, and I'm very curious if she was in it. But she went on Twitter and was like, where did this rumor start? This is not true. But I would love for it to be. Next, we've got Gail Herald, who was from the gay show Queer as Folk. I never really watched it growing up because we didn't have Showtime, but I've always heard of it. I've always been curious to check it out. He played Brian Kinney on there, who was the hottest character ever, supposedly. I don't know. Didn't watch it. Kaylee Hyman is from Terrifier 2. She played an interesting role in that film, and I'm curious to see her in this one. And last but not least, we got Milo Manheim. I was like, who the fuck is Milo Manheim? I don't know anything about him. And then I listened to a video of him, and he's got a very deep voice. I'm like, he could be in a Scream movie. I feel like he would be a good foil. He's definitely not a killer. I feel like he's only 5'10", or is he 6'1"? Who knows? So I don't know. Like I said, Zion Morano came out and said that this was not what the cast was going to be, but she could also just be trying to get the heat off of them for right now. I would love for it. All of them, I'm icon. So we'll see what they actually get. Some of the roles were kind of announced too. So I guess Kerry Russell would be playing a friend type to Sydney. We have got Leslie Grossman. I guess she was going to be playing a neighbor / enemy type character to Sydney. We've got Zion Morano, Kaylee Hyman, and Milo Manheim, I believe, playing a new group of friends. Who I believe Zion Morano was supposed to play the babysitter, and then Gail Herald, I don't know what his role was, but I'm definitely curious. He's probably Kerry Russell's husband. Who knows? I'm very curious if any of this is going to come to fruition. So we'll see how it goes. We've got, last but not least, we have got some young Hollywood news. We've got Hollywood Reporter announcing who the top 10 stars are for, I guess, of this year. What's the cutoff? That's what I'm very curious about. So yeah, the Hollywood Reporter is listing the top 10 young A-list stars at the top of studio's most wanted list today, and they include Austin Butler, Timothée Chalamet, Jacob Elordi, Paul Mescal, Jenna Ortega, Glenn Powell, Florence Pugh, Sydney Sweeney, Anya Taylor-Joy, and Zendaya. And I've got some thoughts about that. I mean, you guys have to think something about that, right? So first things first, why is Glenn Powell on there? Isn't he 35? Isn't he my age? If he's older, should he be in there with all the 20-somethings? I don't know. He's not really young. Or am I young? Was it just announced that I'm still considered young? I don't know, maybe. So that's interesting. So I don't know. Should he be on there? Should any of them really be on there? Let's go down the list. Austin Butler has had a transformation over the past couple of years, doing the Elvis movie. He did Dune. Everybody's interested in that. I'm gonna give it he's a 5 to me. Timothée Chalamet, I know he's a good actor. He just doesn't pull me in. I'm gonna give him a 7 or an 8 maybe. Jacob Elordi, he's beautiful to look at, but is he the best actor? Probably not. I'm gonna give him a 4. Paul Mescal to me he's only on that list because people think he's hot and they want to fuck him. I'm he did that movie After Sun, and that was it really. I don't know. I didn't watch After Sun. Sorry. Jenna Ortega. Finally, someone I believe who deserves to be on the list. She is kind of young Hollywood, and she is having her moment right now. So that's I agree with that. She's like 10 out of 10 right there. Glenn Powell, the other young guy, I'm going to give him 10 out of 10. I'm just kidding. I don't think that he's that bad. I think that he can be like a star. He's going to put out like Twisters this year. I think he's going to be jumping up to like main man status. So I guess we'll give him like an 8 or a 9. Florence Pugh. Okay. Mrs. Pugh. I don't know how I feel. Miss Flo. I like Florence Pugh, but I'm kind of over her at this point. I'm going to give her like a 5 also. Sydney Sweeney, gorgeous girl, interesting girl, making interesting choices. I'm going to give her like an 8 out of 8 or a 9. Anya Taylor-Joy, 10 out of 10. She is just a joy to like have in Hollywood. And last but not least, Zendaya, also 10 out of 10. That is like when they're talking about like young Hollywood, that's what I'm thinking. Zendaya, Anya Taylor-Joy, Sydney Sweeney. I'm not thinking like Paul Mescal, Austin Butler, Glenn Powell. I'm lying. I do like Glenn Powell, especially now that I found out he's like an old man like me. So that's interesting. Tell me, do you agree with the top 10 list? I agree with some of them, not all of them. We're going to get into the bad pop culture news after this because there's a few things to talk about. So now we can talk about the bad pop culture news of the week. We can start things off with the pop icon pop culture history news of May 29th. We're taking it back to 1914 where heavy fog caused a collision between the cruise ship Empress of Ireland and the coal freighter, the Storstad, on the St. Lawrence River in Canada that killed 1,073 people, mostly tourist passengers on the Empress. I'm like, oh my God, I never even heard of that. That's like, how many people died on the Titanic? That's like a lot, right? 1,000 people? Didn't like 5,000 people died on the Titanic? I'm going to look that up on actually how many people died in the Titanic. Oh my God, there was only 1,500 people that were killed in the Titanic. So like 500 more people died. Oh wait, no, I'm bad. There were 500 more people that died on the Titanic than died on this. But still, that's like crazy. I've never even heard of that. Is that like a thing here that we talk about? The Empress like tragedy of 1914? I don't know. We definitely talk about Titanic. So that's interesting. We've got some more sad and bad pop culture news to talk about for the week. We have got Morgan Spurlock of Super Size Me passing away at age 53, I believe. How old was he? Yeah, the director of Super Size Me was 53. So Morgan Spurlock, a documentary filmmaker who captured his own psychological and physical symptoms from eating McDonald's every day for a month in the Oscar-nominated 2004 feature Super Size Me, died Thursday in upstate New York due to complications from cancer. He was 53. So that's really sad. I remember hearing about Super Size Me back in the day. I didn't watch it. I was like a teenager. I was like, I don't give a fuck about a documentary. But Super Size Me was where he conducted an experiment, consuming only food from McDonald's for a 30-day stretch. The rules also include the stipulation that Spurlock could not refuse the Super Size Me option if prompted during the transaction. Do they still do that? I don't think they do that. I think they probably stopped that because of this film. The filmmaker also exercised less to match the average American's physical activity. By the end of the experiment, Spurlock claimed that he had gained 25 pounds and suffered from liver dysfunction and depression. Yikes. So Super Size Me was released in 2004, grossed $22 million at the box office, and sparked conversation about the fast food industry and the poor habits that it was putting out there, I guess. And you know what? It wasn't like he was wrong. I mean, we all know that if you eat fast food like every single day, like you're not gonna be okay. And I'm like, oh my God, how many days in a row do I eat like fast food? So that's like sad to think about. 53 is really young. 53 is like younger than my mom. I don't know. Like that is too young. I still feel like had some years left in you, Morgan Spurlock, but that's sad news nonetheless. We've got some more pop culture news, some more bad pop culture news. We can talk about. Oh, this is like crazy. So we have a fuming mom claiming that the Aldi cashier left her shaking and in tears in front of her children. So a British mother talked about how she was left crying and in shock in front of her kids after a confrontation with an Aldi cashier. The parent claimed she was doing the weekly shop with her children when an argument over the speed of his scanning occurred a few years ago. So Nicola Fuller entered into a tense disagreement with the disgracefully rude staff member, reports the Mirror. She said that she was left traumatized by his aggressive approach and the furious speed of the conveyor belts while checking out. The Aldi shopper says the worker refused to slow down his scanning, even as food fell from the allotted packing area onto the floor. The 35-year-old says fellow customers were gawping as the cashier continued to scan, piling the food high. Eventually, huge showers of products piled up as Nicola frantically reached to pack her bags as quickly as possible. She said, "He could see my struggle, and when a tin finally fell, I began shaking and crying. I knelt to the floor to pick up the food while simultaneously trying to watch my children. I asked the cashier to please stop scanning more food, and it felt like he was throwing the items at me." But Nicola says she received a blunt and aggressive response as the cashier accused her of not packing quickly enough and dubbed her a liar for her accusation. So I guess they walked away after that tense confrontation. An Aldi spokesperson said at the time, "Our colleagues are trained to work at a pace suitable for each individual customer. We have spoken to Ms. Fuller to apologize for her experience at the store and hope to see her again in the future." Okay, how does that make you feel? Like, I feel like she was like dramatizing it a little bit, but I don't know, if you're like throwing the food at me and I'm not packing it fast enough, maybe you should help me like pack it. I don't know. That's just like funny. I was just thinking like shaking and crying in front of her kids. And I'm like, why is there like a news story written about this? That's like crazy. And not only that, I thought this was something that like had happened recently, and I guess it didn't happen recently. I guess it happened back in like 2017. So I don't know. That was like annoying. We have got some more interesting news. We've got some really sad news. So we have got Kabasu, the dog behind the Doge internet meme, has died. She quietly passed away as if asleep while I caressed her. The dog's owner, a kindergarten teacher from the city of Sakura in Japan, wrote on Friday. So Kabasu, the Shiba Inu dog, who like took the world by storm as like the Doge meme, it has passed away. It's died Friday, its owner said. So a picture of Kabasu with a slight side-eyed look went viral around 2013 on Tumblr and various online chat rooms before becoming known as the Doge meme. The dog's owner, a 62-year-old kindergarten teacher from the city of Sakura in Japan, confirmed the news in a poem on her blog on Friday, saying, "At 7:50, I fell into a deep sleep." She quietly passed away as if asleep while I caressed her. I think Kabu-chan was the happiest dog in the world, and I was the happiest owner. I'm like, oh my god, that's so sad. Poor little baby. I mean, but that's the thing. Everything has its time, and I don't know. Well, not everything has its time. That's a lie. I literally just made that up because you want to hear something kind of crazy? I like found out that like alligators and crocodiles, they don't like die from like old age or anything. They only die from like starvation or if like another animal like attacks them. They just keep growing and they like never stop aging. I don't know. There's like something crazy about that to me. Can somebody like confirm that? Tell me the truth. Is that the truth? Yes or no? I don't know. But that's sad. Rest in peace to Doge. We have got some more sad pop culture news. We have got Ivy Wolk at Cannes. That should be like good pop culture news, but the bad pop culture news here is that she was filmed against her will, trying to get into the premiere that she was late for. She's like crying on the streets of like Cannes, like asking for them to let her in, saying, I'm in the movie. And it's like really sad because like one of the first things that I like know Ivy Wolk from is like the meme of her at like the Fear Street premiere and them asking her like how she felt to be in the movie, and she's like, I wasn't in the movie. And now to hear her like just be on the streets of like Cannes, like yelling out there like, I'm in the movie, like she is in the movie, let her in. That's crazy. And she felt bad. Like obviously she was embarrassed. People were filming her and like she's barefoot, like she was like outside of the premiere and she couldn't get in, but finally they let her in, and you know what? She made the best of it. I saw a little picture of her while everybody was like clapping. And I'm so happy for her. So Ivy Wolk, do you guys know who Ivy Wolk is? So Ivy Wolk is a 20-year-old LA native who started making comedy videos in the early days of TikTok when she was just 14 years old, like amassing over 200,000 followers on an account. before going into another account called Lives in a Society. That's where I like knew her as, in like Lives in a Society. And she just seemed like she was just like a like cool chick. I don't know. It's not like she was like a cool chick. She said like some really weird, fucked up shit sometimes. But I like attributed it to her being like a teenager and like knowing that teenagers like say fucked up shit sometimes. And like you come to grow and like, I don't know. She was just a girl to me. And like everybody's like making fun of her on social media because of her being like not let in originally. And I'm just like, can you just like leave the girl alone? Can you just like let her live her life? I don't know. That's like sad to me. We have got some more news, some more sad and bad pop culture news. We have got Luca Guadagnino leaving the Shards. So now I guess we have got a new director of HBO's The Shards, which is coming from Bret Easton Ellis. I talked about it on a previous episode of Pop Icon. The Shards is a book written by Bret Easton Ellis about his final year in high school and the serial killer who came after him during his senior year. And it's like, it was a crazy book. And it was like a really inspirational book to me. Like, I was like, I want to do something like that one day. I want to have a story like that. And maybe I will. But here, this story is going to be on HBO. Supposedly, the idea is for the Shards to have 3 seasons of 10 episodes each, with Ellis writing them all. Curious to see how that's going to go. It is a wild freaking book. I would love to see that. Jacob Elordi is supposedly in talks to play a role in it. I would love to see him. I would love to see it. What else have we got to talk about this week? So we also have some more pop culture news. We have got a San Diego police officer resigning after he was caught locked in the backseat of his squad car with a female detainee who had propositioned him for sex last year, newly released body cam footage showed. So Officer Anthony Hare left his post about a month after a probe was launched into the August 2023 incident, and one day before he was to meet with investigators for his second scheduled interview. Hare, who had been with the San Diego Police Department for 2 years, found himself in the vehicle with a female suspect after he arrested her on suspicion of stealing a car outside of a convenience store. What? The suspect, who has not been named, was one of 2 people wanted for car theft. She also had a bench warrant out for her arrest. After Hare arrested her, he was supposed to bring her to the police headquarters and later to the detention center in Santee, California for questioning. In body cam footage released by the San Diego Police Department, the suspect was seen propositioning the officer for sex after asking him if he was married. She goes, "You're not too bad. What's going to hurt me if I work the system? You know what I mean? That's the way I see shit," she told Hare. "Are you single?" she added, to which he responded, "Yeah, but you're not." She goes, "I'm down to right now," she told him before he interrupts. "Don't say that right now. Don't say that right now because everything's being recorded right now." As the pair approached the detention center, Hare can be heard asking the female suspect what she was doing in the back seat. After which he turned off his body cam and slowed his vehicle as he drove into the residential street. About 20 minutes later, he called for a fellow officer to help him out of the police car after the embarrassing mishap. I asked him if he was okay. He said yes, and then asked if I had my patrol car key with me. I asked why he was asking and what he needed. The unidentified officer said of Hare, describing him as panicked. Officer Hare then asked me if I could go meet him. I asked him his location, and he said near Cottonwood. I asked him why he needed me, and he said he would tell me when I got there. He said he was really embarrassed. So Hare and the woman denied anything happened, as the officer claimed he was checking on the suspect in the back seat. When I was waking her up, that's when I noticed the door closed on me. That's when I was trying to kind of open the door, Hare said in the clip. San Diego police found traces of semen on Hare's belt. Ew! He wanted to get with me when I was done with the warrant or whatever I got arrested for. I guess she said. It's unclear if he faces any criminal charges. I feel like, ew, you pig, disgusting man. How could you do that? And the best part is like, he like picks her up for like stealing a car, and he's like, let's go fuck. I'm like, that's disgusting. You're a pig. You're both pigs for that. So that's like crazy. And in last bit of crazy news, we have got Nicki Minaj arrested in Amsterdam, claims officials took her bags without her consent. A video showing the rapper being detained was posted on her Instagram Live. So Nicki Minaj was arrested by police at Amsterdam's airport on Saturday, a Dutch National Police source confirmed to ABC News. The Dutch police, in a statement, said a 41-year-old woman was arrested for trying to leave the country while in possession of soft drugs, which is prohibited. The police agency later said she was released from custody. On Saturday, Minaj's scheduled concert in Manchester, England, was postponed. Despite Nicki's best efforts to explore every possible avenue to make tonight's show happen, the events of today have made it impossible. We are deeply disappointed by the inconvenience this has caused. So that's sad. How do you feel about Nicki Minaj being arrested in Amsterdam for some weed? So Nicki took to X to update her followers on the dramatic events, saying, "Now they say they found weed and that another group of people have to come here to weigh the pre-rolls. Keep in mind they took my bags without my consent. My security had already advised them those pre-rolls belong to him. Oh yeah, and the pilot wants me to take my Instagram post down," she wrote in one post. I don't know. I'm like, girl, those are your pre-rolls. I already know it. And then you just like hired them to like take the fall for you, right? Isn't that what happened? I don't know. That's kind of like sad. We'll talk some more Nicki Minaj news in a little bit because she did something kind of iconic this week in addition to having some like bad news. But yeah, without further ado, let's just jump right into that like iconic news. So we can get into the iconic pop culture news of the week. We can start things off with the pop icon pop culture history news of May 29th. We're taking it to 1999 whenever the Space Shuttle Discovery completed the first docking with the International Space Station. So that's always great. That it was successful and that nobody died. So congratulations to them. That's iconic to be up there in space. I've already said that like many times before. I would like to go to space one day. No, I'm just kidding. I definitely wouldn't. Or would I? We have got some crazy iconic pop culture news to talk about this week. We should have just named this like whole episode like the Cans episode because we're talking more Cans news. We have got Tyga versus Travis Scott. I don't know if you guys saw, but Travis Scott got into a bit of a Cans brawl with Tyga, who is like another rapper. I'm like, who is fucking Tyga anymore? Like, does he put out songs anymore? Maybe he does. I don't know. But the two gentlemen were spotted brawling at the Cannes Film Festival. And you know what? It actually wasn't just the two of them. Apparently there was a little bit more to the story. So allegedly Travis felt some way about being introduced with Tyga, but the two did not actually fight one another. So apparently Travis's friend and AE, who is one of Tyga's friends, got into a fight. Travis tried to split it up and got brought into the altercation at the end. So Tyga wasn't directly involved, but Travis Scott was. And I'm like, what's the beef, guys? Obviously, it's something over Kylie Jenner, right? Kylie Jenner dated Tyga whenever she was like 16 or 17. That's like creepy as fuck. So he like, what is... And this is also something I talked about this on Pop Icon Radio today. What the fuck are Travis Scott and Tyga even doing at Cannes? They are not actors, are they? Are they actors? Tell me the fucking truth. I don't think so. I don't think I've ever seen them in anything. So, why are you guys going to Cannes Film Festival and like starting shit up? Like you're looking for a headline? Are you that bored? So that's like interesting to me. We've also got more crazy news going on at Cannes Film Festival. I don't know if you guys remember, but last week I talked about Kelly Rowland there, where she was like accosted by this like bitchy security guard who like kept on putting her hand in front of her face, like, and everyone was like, who is this woman? Why is she doing that? So it was not just her. It was all these other women too that she like came after. They were like all like... So apparently this woman, Maziel Tavares, was involved in a pretty big altercation with the same security guard, pushing the security guard on the red carpet. So she was attending the premiere of the film The Count of Monte Cristo. When the incident occurred, the guard appeared to place her arm over Tavares' head and chest as she attempted to usher her inside. Tavares then turned around and simply placed her hand on the guard's face in retaliation. I'm like, oh my god, they're like fist fighting at Cannes. They're like Tyga and freaking Travis Scott at Cannes. This like security woman and like these stars. That's like so crazy. I'm like, keep your hands to yourself, ladies. Both of you. Both of you. I'm watching you both. So we can talk about some more iconic pop culture news this week. We have got... What have we got? We've got... Have you guys heard about Making It in Manhattan? I guess this might be the newest Bravo show that might pop off. We don't really have like a younger generation like Bravo show, and this might be it. So the tea on the Making It in Manhattan show is that it was ordered to series on Bravo, and that it's going to air 100%. The people who signed on are Brooks Marks, Riley Barres, Amira Despain, Mingli Simmons, Julia Mashi, Andrew Warren, Ava Dash, Charlie Zakour, Danielle Neftali, I guess, and Dylan Geek. Is that how you pronounce it? Supposedly Connor Kennedy was considering it. Supposedly it was supposed to be in the vein of The City, like the show that Whitney Port was on for MTV. There was some sort of tie-in with a new talent company that Andrew is launching with one of the big modeling agencies. And so all of the above are assigned to it as talent. So the drama is that the producers tried to sneak Gia Giudice and Ariana Bierman into the cast, with filming starting in the next few weeks. The current cast found out through a mutual friend. Now the current cast is all saying they won't film unless the two girls are removed because they refuse to associate. And that the show might get canceled now. I don't know. Is it like wrong to want to bring in like new blood to like a friend group? Obviously, if you've got a friend group, like everybody's not, it's gonna be cool and calm, and everybody's gonna be friends with each other, and they just like love each other so much. Like, no, that's not it. They need to bring in a couple of wild cards. That's what reality television is. So if this is what the current cast is like trying to pull right now, I'm like, you obviously have never watched a Bravo show before, and sorry, but you're not above the fray. It is, I think that having like a core group of friends is really interesting, but I think that also having a couple of wild cards in there is kind of needed to stir the pot a little bit. So we'll see if this actually even goes to air now. I'm curious about that, and I'm going to move on from that, actually, because it kind of pisses me off now that I think about it. Nicki Minaj is holding a moment of silence for her dear friend, Princess Diana, in Birmingham. The rapper was responding to a fan who said they were from Wales. So Nicki Minaj asked for a moment of silence for her dear friend Diana, Princess of Wales, while performing in Birmingham, England. The Trinidadian rapper 41 brought her Pink Friday 2 tour to the city's Resorts World Arena yesterday. Midway through the show, she spoke to a member of the audience who told her they were from Wales. Putting on a British accent, Nicki Minaj said, "Wales? It always reminds me of a dear friend of mine. Well, she's not here anymore, but the Princess of Wales." After the crowd cheered, Minaj added, "Let's have a moment of silence for her." I'm like, I don't think that they know each other. I don't think they ever met. Nicki Minaj did put out a song called Princess Diana earlier this year with Ice Spice, and I didn't talk about it on Pop Icon, but apparently they have beef, Nicki and Ice Spice, because Ice Spice's friend leaked some text messages where she was being messy about Nicki and talking shit about her. So I don't know, maybe they're friends. Maybe they're friends in her head. We've got some more pop culture news. And this isn't really news. This is more so rumors. Apparently in Beverly Hills, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, we have got a feud brewing between Real Housewives stars Dorit Kemsley and Erica Jane Girardi. We'll see where it goes. I'm not sure what the beef is. I just know that there's beef there. I'm going to have to check out the Pretty Corrupt podcast because they usually have all the tea on what's going on with those ladies in Beverly Hills. But I just thought that was kind of interesting. I just thought that was a little bit interesting. And last but not least, we have got Kim Kardashian flaunting daughter Northwest as Simba and ignoring the Nepo baby backlash. So apparently there's controversy because Northwest, Kim Kardashian, and Kanye West's daughter was cast as young Simba for Disney's The Lion King live to film concert at the Hollywood Bowl in Los Angeles over Memorial Day weekend. However, the decision sparked criticism from online users who felt she was not fit to play the part and only got it because her parents are celebrities. And I'm of course she only got it because her parents are celebrities. We haven't seen Northwest in anything. She's not going to school for acting or anything like that, and she's also 12 or 13 or 10, I guess. That's wild that people are coming for her and calling her a Nepo baby. Obviously she's a fucking Nepo baby. Let her give her until she's 18, and then you can say that she's just a Nepo baby, because as you're younger, you're seeing what fits for you, and maybe acting's not her thing. Maybe singing could be her thing. Maybe rapping can be her thing. Maybe fashion will be her thing. Maybe law school will be her thing. You know, like there's many different ways that she can go. And I don't think that just one little performance of her as like a child is like, I don't think that you should be calling her a Nepo baby. Like Dakota Johnson, maybe. Northwest, maybe not. Maybe she's just a child. She's still just a baby. Weird. I don't know. Critics were saying that it was like not a good. They said this. Yeah, this is terrible for a concert show people paid to see. Come on, the privilege shows. It looks like she didn't even practice. They go. She didn't get any of Kanye's talents from the gene pool, but thankfully she has Kris Jenner to keep her booked and busy. I'm like, okay, yeah. Thank God her grandmother loves her and wants her to like have fun. Fuck. Third person going, I don't mind nepotism, but at least be good at what you're trying to do. And I actually, you know what? I kind of do agree on that, like, note. If you are going to be like a Nepo baby, like, at an older age, be good at it. Like, don't be a shitty actor. Don't be like a lame actor. Be like a Dakota Johnson who's like chic. I don't know. I think it's funny. But I don't like that. They like are picking on her for that because she's just, like I said, a child. Hello, leave her alone. But I think that's all I'm going to talk about this week, actually. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys already don't, be sure to check out Pop Icon Radio on Instagram at Pop Icon Radio. I'm trying to grow my following on there a little bit. And definitely, if you guys have the time, maybe throw me a 5-star review, 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I would love that. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will be back next week talking even more pop culture. But until then, bye.